Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope you're going to enjoy it tomorrow because nobody enjoyed what the hell happened tonight. The Sharks drop one to Arizona, or should I say they dropped one to the officials? I don't know. It's a hard call, but the Sharks go down 2-1 tonight here on Teal Town, USA After Dark. We're here to talk about it. I am AJ Strong, and with me we have Eric Landi tonight. So let's just dive right in, shall we? Because, oh my God. So now, of course, Sharks go 0 for 4 on the power play, which means I have it right here. My little cajon.
Yeah.
We reach for the power play drum when they go 0 for on the power play. Number 2 power play in the league, I might say, along with facing the worst team in the league. But the officials got into this one real good, kids, in the third. So, Landi, I'll just start with you. We can dive into the officials into a second, but, what do you take from this?
I take that if Tomas Hertl is gone for any extended period of time, this team we already thought was a stretch to try and position themselves for a playoff run. It will be even worse. And right now, that injury was a direct result of the recklessness of these officials. That injury was directly caused.
Well, I think it was a direct result of the guy being all over him, but
and why was that happening? That was happening because the Coyotes were allowed to take liberties against the Sharks. Mind you, that's there are some guys on the Sharks that are supposed to drop the mitts in this case.
Name one.
Barclay Goodrow and Brendan Miller.
Dylan, okay, maybe, but Goodrow.
Yeah, I would want to see them. I want to see Hansen mix it up. For fuck's sake, I'd love to see Pavelski drop the gloves. We've seen him drop the gloves. Heck, have him take on Max Domi and show that little shit how to play the game. But
you can't. You're already Thornton's already out. Then you lose Hertl. Last thing you need to do is lose the captain for an extended amount of time when you're trying to get back into a game.
And yes, at the end of the day, the 2 points are most important. And you're trying to win a hockey game. I understand that, but at the other hand, we have seen the Sharks get pushed around. They are reverting back to the same old shit of just being pushed around. And you know what? Chicago, Vancouver, Minnesota, St. Louis are all going to look at this game film tonight and go, you know what? We get the Sharks buzzing around. We put some big hits on their creative forwards. That's the way to beat this team. And you know what? It's for the second time in a row, the second game, third game, fourth game in a row. This is it's just not good to see. This is not a good trend for the Sharks right now. And you know what? I'm seeing people were saying Maschinter will play in the next game or Bolig will come up. Yeah, I agree. I think that one of those two will play the next game against Vancouver.
See, now here's the thing I want to address real quick in the chat from Everything NHL saying, I know I sound like devil's advocate, but I understand the no calls somewhat. Which no call do you understand when Dylan got straight up cross-checked in front of the net?
Couture pushed in.
Well, and pushed in, and then Couture high stick not once but twice. Off a face-off. Yep. LeBanc completely tripped with the puck when he's 3 feet from the net. And the official is staring at it 6 feet away. Which one are you talking about? Because this was some ridiculousness. Again, we can go to the 0 for 4 on the power play. I get that aspect of it, and 1 for 2 on the PK, because obviously, if you flip those numbers, if the Sharks pick up one of those 4 power plays, if they, put the wall up for both of the PKs, then the Sharks, they leave a winner tonight. But the thing that actually kind of sticks with me as well is the fact that we're talking about a Sharks team, again, number 2 power play, number 1 PK against the worst team in the league. And they went 50% on the PK and 0% on the power play. And the fact that Arizona, I mean, it's been this way all 4 games. This was the last of 4. The Sharks won the previous 3, but every one of those were decided by 1 goal. And if I remember correctly, I think one of them went to a shootout. And this is against the worst team in the league. So the Sharks, and if Hurdle, let's talk about Hurdle for a second. I mean, the Coyote player runs them, and I don't know that I can really. That felt like a hockey play. Like, I don't think that was premeditated by any stretch. It was just,
No. Where I was kind of coming from was saying this: when the refs put that precedent out that they're not going to make calls, you get dangerous like these. That's what I'm trying to say is basically that when you set the precedent that you're not going to be making calls, you get more and more of this shenanigans and shitheadedness, and you get dangerous plays. You get plays where guys are hitting the numbers, where they're taking a little extra shoves at the ends of plays, little shoves into boards. This is not okay. And had we been on the receiving end of this, and it was the other way around, I think we could all look at ourselves as Sharks fans and go, we got away with one. We got away with a game where we just took these liberties over and over and over again.
I would agree with that.
Game, the second in 3 games where the officiating has been abysmal.
I'd say 3 and 4.
Okay, 3 and 4, 2nd and 3, whatever. But just when we thought that the officiating couldn't get any more egregious,
because that Vegas game was abysmal.
Was abysmal. But this was worse. This was a shit show.
See, and I don't know if I can agree that it's worse, because tonight's game, the officials just straight up missed stuff. Again, whether it was the Dylan cross-check, the Couture cross-check, the Couture high stick, the LeBanc trip, they just straight up missed or felt the need not to call certain things tonight. Whereas the Vegas game, they not only missed calls, they straight up made up stuff. So while I agree most of the part of that, it's those stick infractions that when you have a linesman or a ref dropping the puck, looking right at Max Domi as he takes his stick and shoves it in Couture's face and does not once but twice,
and does not make that call. There's no subjective call to that. It's either the stick goes up and rides into the face or it doesn't. That's supposed to be a textbook call, and you don't call it. That's just kind of game management shit that fucking NHL refs get shit on for. And this is prime example of that. And you know what? You either call all the penalties or you make it so that there's no refs on the damn ice. And you just have them there for dropping the puck and for offsides. But you know what? No rules. You either enforce the law or you don't.
You know what I like? Obviously, Pittsburgh, a very speedy team. And not known as a team that has anybody like an enforcer, a big fighter, somebody's going to drop the gloves, at least that I'm aware of. I may be wrong, but as far as I know, Pittsburgh is not. I would have loved to see how this game would have been, Arizona versus Pittsburgh, with this, when you see that many missed calls. Of course, you're not going to see that many missed calls when Sidney Crosby's on the ice, but I am dumbfounded by the amount of missed calls. Now, there are people, whether you're in the chat or whatever, you can sit there and go, oh, you guys are homers and just, suck it up and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Look at the color of my wall. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you, no, I'm not a homer at all. Yeah, of course I'm pulling for the Sharks. The fact of the matter is
look up there.
Yeah, right? So it's kind of like, but I can still like be somewhat objective. But you know who is paid to be pretty objective? Brett Hedican and Randy Hahn.
Oh my God!
And I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what Ruzanowski was saying because obviously I was listening to the TV broadcast. But I mean, Brett Hedican with about 13, 14 minutes left in the third was losing it.
It was the most. I mean, the reason why I like Brett Hedican is because he's very even keel. He tells it like it is. He's not very much a homer. I mean, in this last season, I've noticed that he has been saying, "Oh, that should have been called," or "Oh, that should have been called," and we're starting to see a little bit of the Teal bleeding into his broadcast a little bit. But man, when he says he wants to jump over the boards and hit a fucking ref, like you know it's bad. And Randy, who prides himself on being, dude,
Randy Hahn, I mean, will literally get the call when the Sharks are off to like go down to call a national game in LA on a Wednesday when it's, quote unquote rivalry night or whatever. He'll get the call to do that because that's how good he is. That's
how impartial.
And Randy Hahn tonight is like, make a call.
He said they're out to lunch. He literally said that the refs were out to lunch tonight. So, we can go on a diatribe about this for freaking ever. But I think we gotta say that Scott Wedgwood made some pretty damn good saves, and Antti Ranta made some pretty damn good saves too.
For being incredibly cold, no warm up or nothing. Yeah, Ranta, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because the Sharks own the circle tonight, 41-29.
Right.
I mean, blocks were almost even, but Arizona out hit them 26-17. And I don't know that the Sharks had possession to warrant that that discrepancy in the hitting. But I don't have the shot or the shot counter in front of me. But,
I have it.
So what were the shots?
So in the first period, the shots were 7-12 in favor of the Sharks. Second period were 13-17 in favor of the Sharks. Get this. In the third period, the Sharks doubled up on Arizona 6-12 for a grand total of 26 shots to 41 by San Jose. 41 shots on goal.
Which I think it points to two things. Yes, Woody and Ranta, a little bit of head standing tonight, but I wasn't exactly impressed with the quality of the Sharks shots tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say a majority of them were cresters, were pretty much like Devin Setaguchi or Steve Bernier specials, where it's directly right in dead center in the chest.
Yeah. And can we just like talk about the elephant in the room for a hot second? No, Burns is not going back to forward. Just let it go. I think this is a case of PDB trying to just, find something. I mean, give it to PDB. He has done, I thought, some pretty decent coaching over the last 10, 15 games, whether it was double tapping Jones for a start when he probably should have rested to try to get him, get his vibe going, whether it was
Pavelski to center,
that was kind of a, something you had to do a little bit. But, I mean, putting Danny O right back out after he kind of like screwed the pooch a little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll give some pub and some, holla to PDB. Putting Burns at forward. I mean, if you're looking for a spark, hello, I'll take that. But dude, the Sharks are hemorrhaging players at this point. I mean, Thornton, I don't see. I said this a while back. Honestly, I said this the night versus Winnipeg when he went out. And you remember, I was sitting there showing you my ticket stub saying,
"Save that stub."
Yeah, save this stub. This might be the last game we ever see Thornton play.
Ever in any jersey, regardless of being a Shark.
Yeah, who knows? Because knees are a funny thing, friends. So you never know how that's going to work out. Now, Thornton, from what I hear, working out like a madman trying to rehab. Doug Wilson brought that up last week at Ice Insights that they can't get him out of the rehab room. So he wants to be back tomorrow.
I feel bad for him because, you know, right now he's already under the gun, rehabbing from the one. And so now you're asking him to rehab from the other. He was already borderline slow to begin with. I mean, he was literally in that first month, he was just getting by with his hands. And, you know, now you're asking him to say, okay, you got to skate on 2 bum knees. You're going to be out of game shape. And boy, you're going to have to skate against some kids. Now, maybe come playoff time, when things kind of slow down a little bit, that'll put Thornton back in his prime. You know, it'll help mitigate some of the injury stuff going on. But man, it doesn't look good.
Dude, I know Mark Smith is 40, but he's local, man. The guy's still got some good wheels. Get him in here.
Oh my god. Oh my
I'm
god.
telling you.
So okay.
But hold on. Let's put to bed the whole, oh, maybe we should put Burns back to forward.
Oh yeah, and that's not happening. It's not.
Stop. Remind me the last time a Norris Trophy, the reigning Norris Trophy winner won the Selkie the next year.
Hey. Wings don't wing the Selkie, okay?
There's
a reason why Patrick Marleau never won the Selkie.
Hey now.
I mean, if we're kind of going down a little bit on the Burns to forward track, look, PDB had to have an impact forward to replace Hurdle. I mean, and what is his only option? Put Burns up there because he's the only one that plays a similar style to Hurdle. And you saw when Burns was put to forward how hesitant he was to kind of get up into the rush. You saw that his shot selection was not good. Where as a forward, you need to be placing those shots on goal instead of, you know, aiming for sticks. He still had the defensive mindset. So this tells me that was a duress move, and that's not going to be a full-time gig for Burns, because I think right now he's just way too programmed as a defenseman, and trying to ask him to play both is not fair to him.
Yeah. New watcher, California Greenhorn Fisherman. That's a hell of a long title, but welcome in. Thank you for checking us out. I don't know what. I just don't know what the hell to get. You know what? We might have lost a Czech player for a hot second, and I think there's a Czech player that just got waived by Calgary. I wonder if we should go after him.
I wonder, is that Czech player maybe an idol of another Czech player?
Yeah, that likes to bang models, and when the model like blackmails him to post the photo, he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's like, how does this make me look bad? Let me think on that for a minute. I'm not really sure, but just a hard game. And of course, what really makes this one difficult to stomach, aside from the just horseshit officiating, because that's what it was in the third. I didn't have a problem the first 2 periods. I wasn't happy with what happened to Hurdle. I seriously wasn't happy with what happened with Couture. With Couture.
Yeah.
But in the third, I mean, just give me a break. It was ridiculous. But the thing that really puts salt on the wound there was a couple people in the chat that talked about being, tonight's forecast is salt with the chance of pissed off. But the thing that gets me the most is the fact that
everybody else in the division lost.
This was a huge night. This is one of those ones where, because I've said it for a while, I don't believe that the Sharks are going to sniff a wild card if they fall out of the top 3 of the Pacific, because the Central is just that good right now. So at this point, this is one of those ones where if the Sharks miss the top 3 by a couple points, this is one of those games you're going to look at and talking about how the Sharks, that number 2 power play, should have gotten at least 2 more chances in the third, arguably a third opportunity in the third. That's something you're going to look at. And yes, you can go back over the last 6 weeks. There's a couple other ones that they dropped. I believe that they gave Detroit. They lost a point to Detroit. Yeah. So the Detroit game was one that you look back and go, Sharks should have had that one. There's always that handful. I think at the end of the season, there's probably
They should have had the Pittsburgh game. They should have had the Vegas game.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have regular, like solid officiating versus whatever the hell they had that night, but and there was a couple games earlier in the season that you will look at, and in fact, you know what? Usually, I didn't do it this season, but I'll remind myself to do it next year. I got to print 2 schedules. One that has some notes about one thing, and then one that is literally just highlighter over the cross, across the time with the final score written out. It's going to be one of those ones where they lost by a goal, and you sit there and you jot down the note, whether it's 0 for 7 on the power play, or it's, something else where it's that one little thing where that was a game where you gave away a couple points. And when you come down after 82, and if you miss the playoffs by a couple points, there's going to be those 5, 6, 7 games, a handful of games that you look at and go, that's why we're not in.
For sure. It's a wasted opportunity, and it's just it's these are the kind of games that a Stanley Cup winner or Stanley Cup contender does not lose. And that's what I think is the elephant in the room here. Just that this team has just bled so much, and you can only ask the young kids to do so much. You can only ask for Tierney, Meyer, Donskoy.
But hold on, but wait a minute. You say that. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think LeBanc right now, 6th on the team in points, like 3rd or 4th in the team in assists. Like, I don't know that you can ask more from LeBanc. Like, I think he is literally hitting what you would want from him at this point. Kind of same thing goes for Meyer, especially when you consider Meyer to me this season right now reminds me a little bit of Jeremy Roenick's last season with the Sharks, in that he might not have a lot of goals, but the goals that he does have are meaningful. They're game tying goals, they're game winning goals. So I think Meyer is producing at what we hope to. Tierney, I think, is actually kind of exceeding expectations a little bit coming into this season. But then again, give me a guy who's like playing for a contract and I'll win the Stanley Cup every year if you give me a team full of those guys. But then
I'm just saying though, I think we're on the same page here. You can't ask them to do any more than they're doing already.
Yeah, yes. Well, I think we could ask Bodker and Hansen to do a little more than they're doing. But that's just me.
Of course.
I think everybody in the chat is like, yeah, Bodker could probably do a skosh more.
Yeah. So, anyhow, I don't think that there's any miracle potion here. I think Doug Wilson has already said he's going to stand pat. We'd be remiss if we didn't say that your favorite Southern California team and mine stocked up on another defensive pylon.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's not get into the whole Dion Phaneuf-Gaborik thing just yet, because I want to talk about how are the Sharks going to address this problem going forward. Now, hypothetically, we don't know the level of Hertl's injury. Chances are we're not going to find out about it tonight. We'll see a tweet from Kurz or someone on the post game, and I'm sure PDB will be like, I haven't heard yet, and we'll get an evaluation. We'll find out tomorrow. Blah,
yada,
blah,
yada,
blah.
yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, we'll get the cliche thing, but I don't hold that against them. Better the doctors do a thorough review rather than grabbing his shoulder a little bit and goes, that hurt? Yeah. Okay. Stop doing that. I want to see him have a thorough review and exam, but here's the thing for me. You're already down Thornton. Ward, you're not sure. Now, granted, Ward, 4th line piece, but still you're having to now start bring in guys like, I don't know, Bolig or Mashinter or I mean, Ian Reed, throw in like 5 names from the Barracuda right now to put on this Titanic. But do you think it'll happen, or do you think it might be a good idea that Tim Heed, the frickin' yo-yo of the team right now, because it seems like every day I see on my Twitter, Tim Heed's been called up, Tim Heed's been sent down, Tim Heed's been called up, yet I don't see his jersey on the ice. But with what is happening, if Hurdle is out for any type of an extended time, do you think that PDB, considering that we have 2 more home games, versus Vancouver and Dallas, and I'm floating this, and I hate to do it, what if burns it forward and you move Tim Heed down there? All right. Hold on. So that puts Vlasic and Braun essentially as your top pair. And what, your middle pair is Heed and Ryan then? I mean, Heed and Ryan did have some success when they were playing together, but that was when they were getting 8-9 minutes, not 12-13,
Well, there's a couple different things, right? I mean, there is one talented forward down there, and if you really want to strip mine everything that...
Well, that's what it's there for.
Right. So you could bring Balsers up. I don't know that
show me the NHL franchise who was more excited about winning a Calder Cup than a Stanley Cup.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that if you really want to see what you have in Balsers, you can. But he's young, and I just don't want to see another.
Well, how old is he? I mean, Meyer's like what, 21?
Yeah. All right. Let's get the actual Rudolph.
Excuse me while he whips this out, bangs this in. Something like
20 years old. So
how old?
20. So he's not young. I mean he's young.
Well, Jesus Christ, Hurdle was what, 19?
18. Yeah. So I mean, he's got a couple of years. He's definitely not, he's not a young, not like a raw, he's raw, but not like 18, 19-year-old. He's 20. So, okay, you could bring him up. Is that better than having a hybrid Burns who's playing in his off position and his instincts are not tuned to being a forward? At this point, it might be. It might be. And you just keep Burns. You just keep Burns on the blue line. If you want to go the other way, though, if you really do want to play him up front, then yeah, you pull Heed back into the lineup. Hate to say it, but your defense kind of gets better with subtraction. Your actual defensive play might be better.
Well, and you're not wrong. I mean, the Starfish. We all know about Starfish defensive posture. So, if it's going to help the team, I'm for it. And again, you look at they've dropped 3 NHL forwards. Granted, you wouldn't rate every one of them. You're not putting Ward on the top line, but obviously Thornton, number 1 center. Hurdle has been the utility knife aside from, since Patrick Marleau, but utility knife has played winger on the top line, has winger on the second line, has center to third line, has done everything that he's been asked and more, and has actually had a very good season this year. To me, it's been very consistent almost since his rookie season. But the fact of the matter is you're hemorrhaging people, and you missed a key opportunity to pick up a huge 2 points tonight and everything. So as it stands, we're 2 weeks away from the deadline, essentially, people.
Right. All right. So before we kind of go any farther, though, we are topping in and around the 45 viewer mark, almost to 50. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. You'll get those notifications when we go live after every game. We just celebrated our 250th consecutive game covered. And I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, you can kind of look in the comments or in the description section at all of us here that do this, but it's a group of 6 or 7 of us that do these post games, and we just completed 250 of them consecutively, so it's pretty good. But
damn it, we feel good about it, so just enjoy it.
Exactly. But we do it for you guys.
Well, let me at least post it up there, for Christ's sakes. I mean, here you go. Subscribe, man. We do this interactive Sharks post game after every single Sharks game. We have written content, of course.
We got a new subscriber already, Juan Pablo. Thank you so much for the subscription.
Vote for Pablo. Oh, no, vote for Pedro. Sorry. tealtownusa.com. Bookmark it. Hit us up on the social media channels. We're all over the soch, as Brody and Kubro would say. And weekly we do also a weekly wrap, the Pucknologists. And new episode actually dropped this morning. And that's every week to give you a kind of a fill-in as to the week that was, a quick snapshot of what happened in the previous week of Sharks hockey. So absolutely, please follow us on Twitter at TealTownUSA and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd certainly appreciate it. And with that, go ahead.
We also had a new subscriber a little bit earlier before the show started. Anna, thank you so much. And of course, California Greenhorn Fisherman, thank you too. We're just kind of keep going, and you know what? I want to try and make 700 before we if the Sharks make the playoffs, but
keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. All right. So I want to go over. I'm going to pull over the screen share here, and we'll take a look at the hurdle hit. I've got it queued up for everybody to take a look. Here it is. There we go, kind of pull it in, we can kind of see Hurdle. He's trailing on the far edge. He's trying to accept the pass from Couture. All right, so we got, looks like number 25. I can't really see the number all that great, but you see the cross check right here. He's got 2 hands on his stick. He's got one on the far edge and one kind of closer to the blade of his stick. He's shoving Hurdle into the ice. Now, the kicker here is that number 25 will actually barrel in front of Hurdle. Watch how he kind of leaves his feet, pushes him down, boom, rides him into the boards, and puts some weight on Hurdle. Hurdle goes into the boards. That's got to be either a concussion or some kind of shoulder injury right there.
Looking at it in slow-mo when they did it during post-game, it's weird. The way he went off, he didn't go off like it was a shoulder injury, but when you look at the hit, it certainly appeared to be a shoulder injury.
And we kind of see him kind of skating off. He's kind of being ginger with that right arm. He's not moving it when he's skating, see?
Yeah, but the thing is that typically, and I've seen it happen, I've seen it happen to guys when we're playing ball. I've seen guys when they jam their shoulder or separate it, they're holding the arm at the elbow. And I mean, either Hurdle is just an absolute rock star or the shoulder separation is not the problem. It was something else. But again, it's one of those things where we're going to we're going to find out tomorrow. Okay, Laurel is saying, read the chat, Landy. What are we looking for here?
I think we're looking for Rocket saying she didn't want to see this, but I mean,
no, I'm laughing at someone. Oh, Rocket saying she really wanted Bo Horvat, which of course we all did. But the fact of the matter is, Vancouver signed him long term. But the worst part of that was Mike Nevis saying, "Oh, did you say Horvat or did you mean Havlat?" Which was just wrong on so many levels.
Oh, I think the other one though that I'm just. Tim Burke needs to be fired at this point. Matthew Barzal had his, third 5-point game the other night, leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. You needed an impact and you went and you got Timo. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Timo. I think he's going to be a great forward. I don't think he's as good as
the Sharks have had Bo Horvat in that draft too?
No, Horvat was it earlier.
Oh, okay. But I mean, if you want to sit there and like lament drafts and everything and
Oh
fire
yeah,
people,
we've
then you
done
go.
that. Yeah,
No,
we've
I know,
done
but you go back to 2011 and you sit there and go, really? You took Nieto instead of Kucherov? I mean, that's one of those things you could. Hindsight is a hell of a drug, is what Hockey Jerk would say. So it happens. You move along, and it's funny. I actually spoke to Doug Wilson last week about this and how the Sharks are going about changing their draft strategy, and hope to have something posted on Teal Town USA very shortly about that. But
Well, I mean, it's good to hear that they're finally hearing us out. It used to be that you used to really have to gear up to play in this division, but it looks like the skill game that we saw kind of adopted in the East first and kind of through the Central is now finally trickling its way into the Pacific Division. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think again, this is. I don't want to be that guy that sits there and jumps on the officials, because typically I think we've been at least unbiased enough that we can like look at things for what they are and not throw down on the officials. But then again,
this one was just bad.
When you have professional broadcasters talking about the abhorrent officiating and a couple times invoking, and this is what I was thinking, is that, boy, the officials have not been doing themselves any favor in the last week when it comes to Sharks games for some godforsaken reason. Again, it's weird that the Sharks have had this trend lately, like over the last week or so of games, where they just own the first period and then they kind of lull through the second, and depending on what the score is, they either have to come back like they did versus who was it, Edmonton, after giving up 4 straight goals, where they totally own the first period, came out of sleep in the second, and then have to rise up in the third. And tonight was kind of like they could have taken that first one, but the Arizona guy, I think Jones probably might have wanted
the first one back. Yeah,
and the thing that's kind of upsetting me is that lately that seems to be the mantra. As boy, Jones probably wants that one back. The second one, no. The second Goligoski, I mean, there was so much in front of Jones' face. No one was stopping that. And the Bodker play, I mean, let's talk about the Bodker tip. The one goal that the Sharks did get tonight off Braun and Vlasic, that Bodker tip was Pavelski-esque, Mike Ricci-esque, actually. I mean, a beautiful tip, goes right over Woody's shoulder for the goal. And Bodker, congratulations on hitting your 8th. Here's hoping that you actually, I don't know, maybe reach double digits on your goals. That contract. Oh, I want to wipe my ass with Bodker's contract. Anyway, so I mean, we look for the silver linings where we can. I mean, Burns almost 28-16 tonight, almost played half the game, and obviously decent amount of that is going to be attributed to being moved back to forward. But Pavelski, 26 minutes tonight. That's huge. But then you look at the guys that are low. Hurdle obviously only got 7 minutes, so some people's numbers are going to come up to compensate. But Danny O only got 7 minutes tonight. Carlson almost hit 10 minutes tonight. Hansen just over 10 minutes tonight. Maybe, I don't know. See, this is the whole thing. I felt like Couture and Tierney and Donskoy. Well, and let's talk about Donskoy for a minute. Where the hell is Donskoy gone?
I think that he's been in and around the puck. I just think he's kind of a little bit snake bitten right now. And I like what he's doing. I like the creativity. I don't see that dropping off. I just see maybe like just a little bit of a lull right now, but I like what he's doing.
I don't know, like 2 goals in the last like 26 games. I mean, just dude, where have you gone, man? Like there's so many people. Hey, and now here to tell everybody how we're wrong about the officiating is our friend Ian Reed.
There's the wild Ian sighting.
Yeah,
Wild
actually, Ian just came on just to stare at my pussy.
That's true. I did.
My kitty right
I have to actually be in the show to do it.
I have a bitch somewhere. She's barking.
There you go. So, I mean, dude, tell me I'm not wrong. This was some bullshit officiating tonight. I don't think it was I don't know that it was as bad as the Vegas game, but at least at the Vegas game, well, it's a little hard for me to say this because I was at the Vegas game, but when I watched some replays, I don't remember hearing Hedekin or Randy talking about just how poor the officiating was in Vegas, but tonight, holy crap.
I thought the officiating in the Vegas game was just kind of bad across the board. This game, I mean, from what I can tell, I kind of went through the first 2 periods kind of quick. I didn't really notice, like, through my skimming of the first 2 periods of, really any officiating issues really until the third, where I thought the Vegas, it was just bad across the board. Like, that's why I think the Vegas game was worth, because it was just, the whole game was just bad.
But tonight, I mean, the third,
tonight was bad.
Yeah, I mean, you got the LeBanc trip, Couture high stick twice, cross check, Dylan cross checked, and the Dylan cross check was one of the worst ones because the dude literally took like 4 strides to get to Dylan.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, Hetty really nailed it on the head. It was a bad, like, that is the kind of thing you call it. It was just a retaliatory play. And that's where you're supposed to make the call. You take one guy, you get control of the game, and things don't get out of hand. But, I mean, I'm surprised. Like, you have to give the Sharks some credit, though, because I thought they kept their composure really well, because this was a game where, and you knew what we thought was going to happen with Barclay Goodrow, where he finally pushed back, and we thought, oh, now they're just going to take Goodrow. What the hell? But no, I mean, those are the things you're supposed to call. If you want to do quote-unquote game management, you gotta, if you let stuff like that fly. I mean, you have, I can't remember who it was, but Max Domi, smiling like a jackass. You want to punch him in the face because he knows, like, they're not going to call it, and he's getting away with it, and he was just loving it. I think it's just bad. It's bad game management.
Well, and here's a funny thing: is per Paul Gackle, who's down there in the dressing room in the scrums. He says, and this is penetrating specificity, by the way, appeared to have injured his right shoulder, arm, or hand. There's a lot of different things, right shoulder, arm, or shoulder, arm, or hand. Shoulder is pretty damn significant. Hand, also pretty significant. Arm, maybe you can, put a brace on that sucker or something, but shoulder and hands, I mean, yeah, we could use a little bit of, and I'm not trying to bag on
it's not his ankle.
Yeah, well, yeah, or his knee.
Thank God it's not his knee.
Yeah, it's not. It's an upper body. I mean, that's the silver lining, right?
Well, and let me say, I'm not bagging on Gackle. I'm not slamming him at all.
No,
I'm sure he is only reporting what he was told. When I say penetrating specificity, I'm not talking about Gackle. I'm talking about the information he was giving that he is relaying to us. So please, Paul does a fantastic job. But of course, this is hockey. This is not like football where you have to be like, it's an upper ankle sprain at this mark, at this level. If he bends it more than this many degrees, it hurts. Yeah, they don't have to get it. They just say upper body, lower body. That's it. We all aware.
Quickly kind of going a little bit off subject. I kind of want to bounce a couple things off of Ian. Ian,
sure.
Any idea? I mean, we're starting to kind of we're digging at the bottom of the barrel here for call-ups. I mean,
and here's Ian Reed to tell you how bad the Barracuda are.
Well, the thing
not even
I
the
said
Barracuda.
This in the chat a couple times. I mean, the Barracuda played their last game with 9 forwards.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's just not enough there.
Perhaps they could use Brent Burns.
What?
What? At forward.
What is the possibility of recalling Noah Rod? What is the possibility of?
Well, Noah Rod's a no-go because he's over and he's playing in Switzerland.
Right, but I mean, you can recall within the middle of the season, and it's a one-way trip.
I don't.
And he's not. And he's not an. He's still on his 3-year ELC. I mean, so he's signed to a contract.
He's under contract, but he has a European clause in it, so I don't know what that entails.
And then the other two guys that I had is do they try and fast start a Maxim Lutanov or Dylan Gambrell? I mean, they're both juniors, and this is about the time that they either make or break for their 4th year.
Are they going to leave? I just have trouble believing that they would leave school in the middle of the year. Like, normally guys make the jump after the year's over, right? Like, are you gonna leave college in the middle of the and that's a one-way trip, right? Like,
you play you can't go back.
Going back.
Yeah. So
I mean, Ian, what do you now? Here's the thing. Obviously, then if you've got that issue happening, Sharks have 5 point something mil in cap space. Mm-hmm. Do you sit there and just play the hand that you're dealt? Maybe you pick up somebody to slide into your bottom 6 that's not going to cost you a whole lot and just kind of write off this season, knowing that Vegas is running away with it and the Central is an absolute gauntlet right now. And you say, you know what?
I'm not even talking from trade perspective. I'm just talking about from warm body perspective.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying is that, like, do you go out and try to find a piece to try to finish off this season, or you just kind of say, you know what, the 17-18 season is I mean, obviously they didn't expect to lose Thornton the way they did. I think they didn't expect the Jones injury. They did, there were but every team deals with unexpected bumps in the road. But do you think that Doug Wilson just kind of sits here and goes, you know what, this season, and he's kind of admitted this in certain interviews, is that this was a season that we gave to players like Hurdle, Tierney, LeBanc, Meyer, like, show us, like, this is your season to show us, are you worth keeping, or are we going to make other plans? And I think the young players have, for the most part, said, yes, we want to be part of the future. So does Doug Wilson, try to find a couple stop gaps, or does he hold on, does he pocket the cash and say, here you go, Hasso, see what I did for you?
See, I think it depends on Hurdle. Like, if you've lost Hurdle if you don't, like, especially if Hurdle's injury is significant, where, because you have no timetable for Thornton. We don't know what's going to happen with Thornton.
Yeah.
If you have no timetable for Hurdle, I mean, I think you jump on the waiver wire.
There's no timetable on Ward either, right?
Ward, I believe wasn't as bad as it was expected to be, and he's day-to-day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ward dodged a bullet, and he got upgraded to day-to-day instead of what's it called? Indiscriminate amount of time.
Yeah, if I'm Doug Wilson, I think that if you've lost Hurdle, I think at this point, I mean, you don't buy, right?
Of course
you're not going to buy to try and band-aid together to get a round of playoff games. I think you pick up some pieces. Maybe you grab a couple of warm bodies on the waiver wire because that's free.
Okay, but there's 6 games left between now and the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. If the Sharks fall out of the top 3, and I said this earlier, I don't think the Sharks have a hope in hell of trying to make a wild card if they fall out of the top 3, because the Central is just too strong. So if they fall out of the top 3 between now and the trade deadline, are they sellers? And when I say sellers, I'm not talking, trying to offload Hansen or something. I'm talking about moving Dylan or Pavelski. I'm talking about getting strong value back and saying, just kind of letting everybody know this was the season for our younger guys to come up. They've performed the way that we expected, and we're changing things, and Couture is going to be the captain next year and deal with it.
I don't. I mean, I don't think that he burns it to the ground. I just don't think that's very.
I don't know that would be burning it to the ground.
Well, I think if you're gonna jump a bunch of things and then you're gonna start moving significant pieces. I mean, I still think Pavelski's a significant piece to move. I mean, I think if you're Doug Wilson,
I think it would
based
be
on his
value.
history. Yeah, no, I get the trade value perspective. I just think that you offload whatever you can and you fill up some warm bodies on the waiver wire and you just kind of ride it out till the end of the season. I don't think he's going to do anything major. I don't think he's going to, unless if someone blows his, if someone comes in and says, I want Joe Pavelski, and just blows his socks off, I think he'll listen. I don't think he would not listen, but
Florida is still a part of the NHL, right?
I'm aware, but I just think with the Sharks, the Sharks don't have a whole lot to move of any value. So I mean, I think for Doug Wilson to move a guy like Pavelski, who I think the Sharks are still very high on, regardless of whether they should be or not. I don't see it. I think that they would try and move the easy pieces, the Hansons, the Martins, the Wards. Get whatever you can. I mean, you're going to get scraps, but get something, right? And then you just ride it out.
And I get that, and I think what you're saying about Doug Wilson, I think is probably spot on. This is the time where I kind of want him to take. Maybe this is. I mean, maybe we will see Doug Wilson make a play like this because we saw Doug Wilson hand out contracts that were longer than 5 years to both Vlasic and Burns, which he had never in his career as GM ever done. So,
but you have to at this point. I mean, that's what guys. Yeah, I think.
I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying, his rule of thumb was that I'm never going to do that, and now he's doing that. So maybe he'll take a page out of the Bill Walsh playbook and say, better to trade, move a guy a year too early than a year too late. And Pavelski to me is. I love Pavelski, but I think he is a prime candidate. One more year left on his deal at a very, very comfortable, I believe, $6 million. Yeah. Who wouldn't want to take that on and would probably give you some very good value back for it? I'm just saying, 10 days from now, if the Sharks are 7-8 points out of a playoff spot, if I'm Wilson, I'm listening to everybody trying to knock down my.
I think the problem with this trade deadline is I think there's more sellers than buyers.
Well, see, for me, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. There's just not big names out there. So to me, it feels like Pavelski would kind of, rise to the cream of the crop in that.
He has to have something though. I'm sure he has a clause. I'm going to double check.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding? Doug Wilson hands out no moves like they're candy at Halloween. But still, it's just kind of Pavs, fucking Tampa Bay would like you. Would you like to go to the favorite to win the cup this year? Because they have some picks that they want to get. I mean, or something. But you know what I mean? It's just I want if the right person comes a knocking that's going to give the good. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at what Wilson got for Doug Murray and Ryan Clough. I always go back to those. If he can find a dance partner that is going to overpay for Pavelski, and I don't even know.
Who might
lay it on me.
Who might actually be a trade partner for the Sharks?
Let me guess. You're going to say all of the Coyotes for Pavelski.
All of them.
No, but I'm being halfway serious here. If they came calling, I might listen to some of their prospects here. Nashville. I know Nashville is getting Mike Fisher back, but don't tell me you'd rather have Joe Pavelski over Mike Fisher. And Pavelski can also play on wing too, which is
well. See, and that's the thing. In my opinion, Nashville, I think that if they're going to do anything, it's going to be to shore up the wing because they're set center.
Right.
But Pavelski can play wing.
Right. He can play wing.
Right. And very well.
And they've got quite a nice pipeline. And I look at them. I look at maybe, St. Louis.
All right, guys. Okay. This might be a little off the beaten path, but hear me out for a second. What do you think about Pavelski for Marlowe.
Oh, and we went off.
And AJ has had too many desert dogs.
He left for a reason. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. It's really all going to hinge on what Hurdle's.
For Kevin Kurz, DeBoer leaves the possibility open for playing Burns at forward if Hurdle misses time.
Are you serious? See, hold on. Did I not just say that like 20 minutes ago?
I'm just saying.
This is the case of the fact of the matter is you have Heed ready. I don't know what team he played for today, or I shouldn't say played for, what roster he was on, because the guy he's been on the Sharks and the Cuda up and down for the last like 3 weeks. So,
all right, can I say this? Andrew Bench must be so giddy right now. I had to mention it.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Lost his credentials years ago. It's no biggie. But no, it would not surprise me in the least. But so if that's your case, so you're talking about, what are your lines at this point? I mean, you've got Couture with what? LeBanc Couture with Meyer and who?
No,
LeBanc?
it's Couture with Donskoy and LeBanc, and it was Pavelski with Meyer and Burns was what they were playing today.
Okay, but the whole thing is, I think Donskoy is going to get pushed down because Donskoy has not been.
Donskoy needs to find the back of the net. I mean, I love Donskoy.
Yeah,
Donskoy.
But it's like 2 goals in the last month and a half.
Donskoy, but that man needs to find the back of the net.
Yeah, yes. He does. I agree, and I mean, I've liked what he's done. I've liked what he's done.
Like LeBanc and Meyer, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And Meyer on the same line seems weird.
That seems like 2 battering rams with like a small little operator.
I will take Couture with LeBanc and Meyer, just a shit ton of youth that are really hungry. Couture is a very hungry player. Your second line, you put, Pavelski out there with Donskoy and Bodker. I mean, 2 guys that have something to prove with a grizzled veteran center that can set them up. And then Tierney with put him out there with, I don't know, some healthy speed or some shit. At this point, I'll take Tierney on the third line with like Sorensen and Balkers at this point. I mean,
but Sorensen's not. Sorensen's out.
Well, who's the other?
We need warm. We need warm bodies.
This is what I'm saying. Oh no, hold on. I'm totally wrong. You put Couture out there with Meyer and Burns. Hello, thank you. No more calls. Because they're gonna, dude. It would not surprise. I said this earlier. It would not surprise me if from now till the end of the season, if Hurdle is seeing extended time out, which I would say is probably now to the trade deadline, end of the month. Wouldn't surprise me if they put Burns at forward for the next 4 or 5 games, while certain people out there just are like, oh, Burns at forward, yeah.
Are we having the full on South Park meme going on?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We're being requested for a reach around here.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I think we have torn the crap out of this game, and
there was one last piece.
Oh, F you, Landi. What do you want?
Hold on. Chris says Hockey Night in Canada.
Hold on, Chris on the YouTube. AJ, your Uber has arrived. Thank you.
For a after hours special for Hockey Night in Canada, Doug Wilson was on there for a interview. And the thing that I found kind of interesting out of that interview, which I did want to bring up, was he was saying they will be scouting the Olympic players. And he said there might be somebody coming out of there.
Girls or boys?
Is there actually any statute that says you can't sign a woman to a contract?
No.
Because I'd love to see like a Hillary Knight on the Sharks. Put her and Pavelski on the same line.
I'm just saying.
All American.
If the girl can play, let her play.
All right. Reach around, right?
Okay, I'm on it. So I think we buried this game into the ground. We all have to find out where Hurdle is going to be between now and Thursday versus Vancouver. Hopefully, obviously, we're all rooting for good news. So we will see you all after the Vancouver game on Thursday. So we move on to the reach around on a night when the Sharks really could have taken advantage to what happened. Oh, my Lord. Oh, but this one's for Rocket because we talked about this before. If you listen to the Pucknologist, we have some cool sound effects here and there. We've got the little oh, good for you and stuff like that. So for this one, we have to say, it's time for the NHL Reach Around. There you go.
Fap.
Danger, Will Robinson. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so happening out around the league, we've got the Boston Bruins taking – man, where did the Bruins come from? Like, I forgot about this team, and they're literally second in the NHL right now, like knocking on the Lightning's door. But anyway, Bruins take care of the Flames tonight, 5-2. Rick – oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Why does it say R. Nash? Is there another Nash in the league besides
Riley
Nash?
Riley
Nash. Oh, well, good for him. Okay. Riley Nash picks up 2. Bergeron picks up 2. And Chara, remember him? He even picked up gold tonight. Tuukka Rask gets the win in that. Bruins, 5-2. We go up to Buffalo, where the Sabres take care of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Johnson over Deming. And anything... Oh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that guy's name for Nemestikov?
Yeah.
Holy crap, I got that right. Okay, cool.
Nailed it.
Reinhardt picks up 2. And Puck Guy, did you see how easy it was for me to pronounce that name? I didn't even think I was doing it right. Get it together, pal. The Blue Jackets 4-1 over the Islanders. Bobby gets the win over Halak. And there you go. That piece of crap Dubinsky picks up a goal. Yeah, that jerk off who pulled Dylan's leg up over his ankle the other day. The Flyers go down in the shootout to the Devils. Neuwirth takes the loss on this one. Neuwirth. I love that name. Neuwirth. Taylor Hall puts in 2 for the Devils on that one. Oh.
Man, it's good to see Taylor coming back after that vicious hit from that piece of shit, Burroughs.
Right? And I guarantee you Edmonton's missing him. I swear to God.
They just happen to be missing a left winger.
Yeah, right? No, man, they're gone. Somebody messed up on that Hall trade. Penguins 6-3 victors over the Senators. Senators obviously not taking that big trade very well. Getting doubled up by the Penguins.
They're belly up. They're belly up.
Yeah. Murray gets the victory in this one. Netzel picks up the first 2 in this one. Aston Reese picks up 2 on this one. Boy, just everybody doubling up tonight. The Hurricanes absolutely bitch slapped the LA Kings tonight. Holy crap, 7-3.
Was there some Cam Warding of this bitch?
There was a lot of Cam Warding of this bitch. Justin Falk picking up a natural hat trick in this one, 2 of them off the power play. And Jeff Skinner gets in on the final, or on the 4th and 5th ones in this, or the 5th and 6th ones in this, and Sebastian Aho just puts the nail in the coffin. I mean, holy crap! Jonathan Quick got absolutely bitch slapped in this one. I want to know what his save percentage was in this. That was fantastic.
You know what, Drew Doughty, you're like the one cool Kings fan I think I've ever met. He's like, yeah, we were bitch slapped.
Hey, you know what? Hey. I
tip my
respect, man. Respect. Stick tap to you, buddy. The Red Wings double up the Ducks 2-1. Howard with the win, Gibson with the loss. Dylan Larkin finally gets on the board. Seems like it's forever. Only Potts is 9th on the season. Seems like he should be I know, right? Seems like he should be about 3 times that by now. But anyway, down in the what Music City, Nashville, 4-3 over the Blues. That's actually a pretty solid win for them because the Blues have been coming on of late. So in overtime, that one, Pekka Rinne luckily did not throw his stick or the net at anyone in this game because it did go to overtime.
Really?
You never know what's going to happen. Hey, you never know. Then we go over to the almost white north in Minnesota, 3-2 over the Rangers because, as we know, the Rangers are in full-blown fire sale right now. If it isn't nailed down, it's got a for sale sign on it. Lundqvist, King picks up another loss. Dubnyk gets the win. And Zach Parise, the scoring machine that he is, picks up his 3rd on the season.
Oh, but
dude, Zach Parise, Mikhail Bodker has more goals than you.
No, he's had a hell of a time this year.
Oh,
I mean, it looked like he wasn't even a play this year.
Yeah,
his back injury,
serious back issues. Yeah.
Hey, I like to pile on. Leave me alone.
Hey, he's a good Minnesota boy. Leave him alone.
Right. Winnipeg Jets down the Capitals 4-3 in overtime. Hellebuck picks up the victory over Holtby. Anybody of note? What's this guy? Shifley? What's this guy? Shifley. There you go. Shifley pots 2. One of them of the shorthanded variety. Myers takes care of it in OT. And then finally, the Golden Knights with another goddamn win at home. Could these guys just like lose once? Who put the goddamn velvet ropes and champagne room in the visiting locker room in Vegas?
It was the best design choice ever.
That was the 7th straight loss for the Blackhawks too.
Oh no, they're just spiraling down the toilet bowl like nobody's business.
And just to like rub, a little salt on the wound when it comes to tonight. The Sharks tonight scored 1 goal. Tonight in the Golden Knights Blackhawks game, 2 former Sharks scored a goal, both of them opening. Okay, just to rub it. Tommy Wingles opens up scoring for the Blackhawks on the power play, and who gets the answering goal? Ryan Carpenter. Damn. Ryan freaking Carpenter. Wow, I'm so happy the way that waiver wire moved down. Okay, so that is your. Oh, hold on. We have to bring it back. This is going to sound great on SoundCloud. People on here is not going to know what I'm talking about. But on SoundCloud, they're going to go, "Oh my god, that sounds awesome!" And that is the end of the NHL wraparound.
Reach around, get it right.
Oh shit, I blew it. The NHL wraparound.
You fucked it up again.
It is my hat trick of fuck ups. The NHL reach around.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So that's for the 3 people still watching, we really appreciate it.
Hey, there's actually 10 times that amount.
So hashtag reach around on the chat. Thank you.
This is your Valentine's Day edition of the reach around. When you need to give yourself some love, we got you covered with the reach around.
Give yourself your own stick tap, will you?
You want to talk to trader?
God, why are we talking about some shit prospect for a traffic cone? I mean, literally, that's what it is.
What happened? Are we talking about the FNUF deal? What
yeah. We're talking about a trade for a traffic cone. I mean, really?
I mean, yeah. It has. I mean, honestly, I don't watch a lot of, Northeastern hockey. I mean, has FNUF been a? Oh, hi, Kayla. Has FNUF been like worth a damn over the last couple of years?
No, it's weird. It's just, but even still, like you got. I think the bad thing is like Ottawa. I mean, you take how much cap did they keep on FNUF, and then you're taking back Gabrick on top of that. No, Gabrick, it's less real money than cap hit, but still, I mean, shoot, I don't know who has less left in the tank at this point.
And not only that, but it wouldn't be complete if the Kings didn't have all of the takers.
Well, now here's the fun part of this. Who wins this deal? Honestly, I think well, you know what it is. I say the winner is the one that I should rephrase that. The loser is the one that had to retain any salary in the deal.
That would be Ottawa.
I mean, I as much as I hate to say it, I think just on the surface, it looks like it's probably. I mean, the Kings are probably getting better. I think maybe Gabbert probably has a little bit less in the tank left than Phaneuf at this point. I mean, I'm kind of like whatever about it.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, Phaneuf is just like a fart in an elevator. It's
nobody wants to claim him, and nobody likes him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Phaneuf one, yeah, probably.
Yeah, Phaneuf, yeah, probably.
Yeah, Phaneuf on the train.
Yeah, I mean, how great is that? Wasn't Phaneuf drafted by the Calgary
Flames?
Calgary.
Yeah, Calgary. So he's in the Northwest. Then he goes in the Northeast with Toronto, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he go from Toronto to Ottawa, or was there like a Florida team in between?
No, Toronto to Ottawa.
Yeah, Toronto, and then he comes back to the West. I mean, you talk about full circle, my friends. I mean, that's just about right. So. But boy, could you imagine Phaneuf trying to play for Daryl Sutter if he was still there? Oh my God, that would have been fantastic. I mean, starting off because wouldn't he have started off with Daryl Sutter? Was Daryl Sutter
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm just kind of surprised the Kings did anything. I kind of thought getting Jeff Carter back would be their deadline move, but I mean, yeah, shore up that defense a little bit.
Well, what are you going to do? Either way, stuff got. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, either way, it's time to go.
Well, no, and that's what I would like. I'm gonna wrap it up here and say, let's just hit the standings real quick because, as we made it at the get-go, the Sharks blew away a huge opportunity tonight to pick up 2 points while everybody behind them lost. So as it stands right now, Vegas, of course, numero uno in not only the Pacific, but the West. However, Nashville nipping at their heels right now. Vegas 78 points with 56 played. Nashville 77 points with 55 played. So Nashville at this point has the opportunity with that game in hand to overtake Vegas for number one in the West. San Jose remains second with 68. Calgary, 66 points, stays in third. And then you've got LA and Anaheim dogfighting at 65. So 3 points separate second and fifth. And with the Sharks hemorrhaging players at this point, I hate to say it, kids, the schedule is not looking down well on the Sharks. You've got Vancouver. Okay, yeah, not a great team. But the Sharks just lost to the worst team in hockey. So everybody is a potential threat. Vancouver, and then it's just a run through the Central Gauntlet, hosting Dallas, and then at St. Louis, at Nashville. Again, by that time, probably the number one team in the West. Then you've got at Chicago. Chicago has lost 7 straight, which means they're due. And no better way to get your due on than to face the Sharks. Then you've got Minnesota.
And of course, Corey Crawford's not going to play that game. So, there's also the holding quarters.
No.
Right. But then Minnesota.
But maybe those 2 bad jujus cancel out.
Yeah, so the Sharks could very well go like 6-1 over the next 7. It's not unheard. Or I'm sorry, 1 and 6. Sorry,
but just how bipolar this team is, they could go 6.
Yeah,
they could
absolutely.
Yeah, Brent Burns goes on like a 15 goal
he goes
pace
back to
in
forward.
7 games.
And then it's everything better.
It does not get any better or any easier for the Sharks. I mean, literally, the rest of the season is littered. It's just games between the Central and the Pacific with an occasional, that you have a Washington game in there, you have a Detroit game in there, you have a Jersey game in there, and that's pretty much it. And, you have to face Vegas 2 more fucking times. So,
do we have to go to the stripper capital or no?
Yes.
I mean, damn.
End of March 31st, we go back to the strip. So it's not going to get any easier, kids. And I got to say, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm telling you right now, on my calendar, I have it, and it's not even bubble out. I have the Sharks out of the playoffs. So
if Hurdle's gone, I mean, if he's missing any more than 1 or 2 games, they're going belly up, guys.
There's only so much, dude. I mean, because if you think about it right now at this point, if you just focus on irritating or getting under, I mean, because you even saw Couture, they got under his skin a bit tonight, but I think a lot of that was also the fact that nobody would call shit when they would do stuff to Couture. But I mean, you pretty much shut down Couture and Pavelski. And because those are the feeders. Maybe you consider keying in a little bit on LeBanc because he has gotten some great assists this season. But it just seems like if you shut down Couture, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Drew Doughty, I know that you guys,
Thank you, Laurel.
That you guys had this like wet dream that Joe Thornton might just sign in LA, but he was going to Toronto if he wasn't coming back to the Sharks. That was what he was doing. Thornton only would have went to Toronto like in what was it, early 2015 when he called Doug Wilson a liar and told him to shut up. I think that was like that week was like the only time Thornton was considering going to LA. Other than that, it's always been Teal. So that's it, kids. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button. Follow us on the Twitter machine at Tealtown USA. And we will see you after the game versus Vancouver. For those of you going to the game, it is, I believe, no, I think it's the Dallas game is Lunar Shirt. There's some sort of giveaway for Vancouver. I'm not sure what it is, but enjoy it. So for Ian Reed and Eric Landi, I am AJ Strong. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you all after the game versus Vancouver. Good night, y'all. Peace.